I immediately start recording, and why doesn't know that? You know,
Yeah.
it's just okay. You got this all wrong. Okay,
Right.
yesterday you were saying that the Biden administration is just trying to get all this voting stuff without verification and everything else, and so that anybody can vote. You got it all wrong.
What do you mean?
What it is they just want everyone to have the right to vote.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
So
And
I'm being a bigot when I say
yes,
that.
you're a bigot because you're a white male, right?
I
And what's
suck.
funny is
I suck
before this last election, they could probably have a case for that because they'd roll out the black people, the one or two black people without driver's licenses and stuff.
Yeah.
But after this election, it's just a joke. Everybody knows that's a joke. But what do you mean? Because I saw that the way they explained it. They want everyone to have the right to vote. I go, what are you talking about?
Right.
They mail ballots out to everybody. How can you say that with a straight face? That's what I want to know.
I know.
You know. So that's why this last election is like, well, we know you're lying.
I think the Republicans should just join in.
Yeah.
Just go and you see an apartment building, go, follow the mailman. When he drops off the ballots, just yank them out, fill them out,
Yeah.
send them in.
Or at least do the legislation like if you come up, you have to dip your finger in purple paint like they do in India.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you want to do that? Fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's start doing third world nation stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, dip your finger in the purple, and then they're gonna roll people out. Oh, I'm allergic to purple dye. I can't do it. It's It's not hyperallergenic.
Yeah.
They'll
COVID.
always be. Yeah, it has the China virus on it.
China virus. Yeah, you can't say that anymore, according to Biden.
Is that true?
From what I read, yeah, it's in. I saw an article on it, and
I'm gonna look that one up because you just can't tell anymore. I just literally you can't tell. You can't look at the news and say, "Oh, okay, that's real."
No,
it's
no,
literally.
I know. It's so funny. I mean, just so many things that used to be, like you knew it was sarcasm. You just can't tell anymore.
I know you can't because it's just so they've pulled stuff so ridiculously to that side that I honestly can't tell anymore.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I think Biden's up to like 37 executive orders now, and is he only 60? I think he's only a week into it. And I don't even think he's a week, But anyways, he's got 37, and I'm like, why isn't he like he owns the Congress, the House, and the Senate? Why doesn't he just fucking jam it through?
Because the people won't like it. They'll see it and they won't. Did you see that article I sent you the other day? Our governor in California, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
They have a new plan to battle the China virus, right?
Yeah.
But they're keeping it secret because the people would misunderstand it.
You just won't
and
get
it's
it.
like, okay, so you're saying we're stupid.
Yeah.
And you want to keep it secret.
Yeah.
And why isn't if Trump did 39 executive orders in the first couple of days, they'd be squawking, he's a king, he's an emperor, he's a
dictator.
Hitler. They would be, and they were. I mean, he signed quite a few. There wasn't 37.
Yeah.
But he signed quite a few.
Yeah.
And it's like, no one's telling Biden he's a king and an emperor or a dictator. And
the ones Trump did. They, the people that hate Trump can fight me on this, but the ones that he did helped every American.
I know.
Like in some way, because again, he had this whole America First thing, and this is all like helping nobody in America. You know.
Yeah. That's because we're all global citizens, Chris.
See,
we're just not.
Biden doesn't even know what he's signing.
Like he just signs it. He just said, "Hey, sign this." Oh, okay. I'll sign
it. This is all just shit that's just being thrown in front of him by a bunch of frustrated college professors. In his cabinet and all this stuff. But it won't help anybody because the bottom line is, and this has been like this my whole life. The Democrats just really hate normal Americans.
Yeah.
They just hate us. And by normal Americans, I mean people that don't have trust funds and all that stuff. Just normal guys that get up and go to work. Black, white,
the middle class.
The
middle class people.
They hate us.
It doesn't matter what color you are. And, I was listening to that economic thing I do,
Yeah.
and, they're talking about, there's only so many treasuries they can float out there. A treasury is basically like a loan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's only, and they've been like floating a lot of these, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they can only float so many before the taxes start going up. And they're
Right.
expecting the taxes to go up this year
Yeah.
because they just can't float any more treasury stuff. They
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
People just aren't buying them. The returns on them just aren't what they are. Because remember, all these loans we're going to have to pay back eventually.
Yeah.
10 years, 20 years. It depends how long the loan is.
Yeah.
But, this money, it's not over for like 10, 20, 30 years. I mean,
Yeah.
this ain't going away.
No.
I'm going to be dead and gone, and they're
No.
still going to be paying this off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what people don't talk about.
I don't understand enough about finance to like really delve into it, but they've been doing this shit since we were kids.
Yeah.
They've been kicking this can down the road, and they were telling my parents, well, your kids and their children are going to have to pay for this.
And we are.
Yeah, but we kind of aren't. We're kicking it down the road to our kids and our grandchildren.
No, we're kicking the mess we're in now down the road.
Well, yeah.
See, we're paying this stuff 10, 20 years ago right now.
Yeah,
that's what we're paying.
Maybe you're right.
So,
yeah.
and we're kicking this disaster. Yeah, we're kicking this disaster down the road 10, 20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah.
So they are, except it's going to be more then because there's a way more treasuries out there right now than when we were kids.
Right. I just can't for the life of me understand. And this is why I liked Trump. I can't for the life of me understand why we're giving any money to any foreign countries at all.
Yeah.
Like I don't like why?
I know.
What unless in some way it benefits all Americans. But
we have enough problems here. I always hear 1 in 5 children is hungry. It's like, my son's always hungry, depending when you ask him, right? Why do you give money to this thing? Why are you giving money to the Pakistani women? I mean, take the money and spend it on our kids. How about that?
I agree that sucks. I agree that sucks. But, that other countries are bad. One, get your shit together. And two, just if you feel that way, just start a charity.
Yeah.
Go over there and show them how to plant food or whatever. I mean, there's plenty of, all these Silicon Valley billionaires, they get all this money. Liquidate some of your fucking stock and go over and help the Nigerians.
Yeah, remember that comedian who always would yell? He died in a car accident on the way back to.
Yes.
Sam Kinison. Yeah, Sam Kinison. Okay. He had a bit where he's talking about the poor people in the middle of the desert. It was funny, but it was true. He said, he wouldn't send them money. He would send them moving vans, and he would move them to where the water is.
Yeah.
It was hilarious the way he said it. It was simply, he said he'd send over a bunch of U-Haul trucks, move them from the middle of the desert, and move them to where the water is.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you do. Move where the water is. It's pretty simple. I know it's an oversimplification of everything.
If you're worth more than $1 billion, first of all, I don't begrudge anybody their money. Anybody, even Jeff Bezos, who I hate, don't begrudge him his money. But if you have more than $1 billion, which is more than you and your family can spend in generations, okay, meaningfully, just take $1 billion, and you could make 1,000 people a millionaire. Or you could make 1 million people. You could pay 1 million people's rent. Whatever. Just help somebody if you're so inclined. But why are you sticking it to me? Because they just said this thing that Buttigieg, that Biden just pointed. He wants people that drive the most to have their taxes raised. With gas tax and whatnot. Well, who drives? Is it rich people? Rich people are not going out and driving 200 miles a day. It's truck drivers. It's delivery people. It's rideshare guys like me. It's in other words, it's not the affluent and the privileged that are driving 300 miles a day.
Yeah.
It's some stiff that's just trying to get by. And Buttigieg is like, well, for the environment and for the planet, like, I'm so sick of this. The planet's 4.5 billion years old.
Yeah.
It's doing fine.
I think we'll be okay. You know, it has the unique ability to heal itself, and it's been doing okay for billions and billions and billions of years.
I know. If it gets a little warmer, humans will. I mean, we there's evolution, right? We'll adapt.
Yeah.
We'll adapt. I don't know.
And it's like that UN survey that says, hey, the United States is doing okay. It really doesn't need to go into the Paris climate.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't put in the news. That was kind of hidden. You know, the U.S. is the most. I mean, the UN is the most chided organization there is.
God, I love that. China's a developing nation.
Yeah, I know. Don't you love that? They stole our. Remember, they went into space. They put a person in space, right? Because they stole our space program for 30 years.
Yeah.
And they have nuclear weapons, and they have all this stuff, right? And they're still labeled a third world nation, which I can't believe.
Yeah, a third world nation shouldn't have a space program. If you
have nuclear weapons, you're not a third world program. Period. That's it. You know, I mean, that's pretty complicated shit.
Yeah.
And if you have nuclear weapons, you know, and if you go into space, that's doubly against you. You know, it's like, you guys shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but no one will ever.
And also, at least China, when it dumps money in, taxpayer money in China into another country, at least they're doing it to just totally exploit the country and destroy the people to take
over. They're doing it for a reason.
They're doing it for them.
They're not doing it for the goodness of their heart, you know, because that's the classic pump and dump they do. It's like they go into Nigeria, they build them a port system or whatever, an infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then they give them like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Then they gladly take it. Then the Chinese construction people, they're the ones making the money on this.
Yeah.
They build them the infrastructure. Then a couple years later, they try to collect the bill. Nigerians can't, and then they take the infrastructure over.
Yeah.
It's literally they've done that to a bunch of countries.
And it's just a coincidence that China has a hugely powerful military to make sure that the debt can be collected, or or the collateral is taken.
Yeah, because I was listening to this one guy before the election. You know, China was threatening Taiwan and everything else, and they kept going. Well, you know, it's not going to happen. War's not cheap. War's expensive, and it's bad for business. It's like, well, yeah, that's not the type of war they're playing. They're playing the silent war, and they've been doing it for 20 years.
Right.
And they're smart about it.
Yeah.
And they're not going to bring out their weapons. They're going to go underhanded like they are. Right. And these people that go, well, you know, war is bad for business, they just don't get it. See, they're living 20, 30 years ago.
War that they're doing is great for business. These billionaires are making fortunes. Especially the tech billionaires. They are making there's a handful of people. Not a handful. That sounds conspiracy theory. There's a class of people that are benefiting by these horrible things that they're putting in place. Yeah. And it isn't the middle class. It isn't the working class. It isn't even the upper middle class. It's just really those. And again, I'm not like, Occupy Wall Street, the 1%ers. I don't care if you've made investments and you make $15,000 a day on your trades. I don't. That doesn't bother me. That's fine. Just don't fuck me. You don't have to fuck me. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Go out and play your little games. Look at your computer and your little candlestick charts and all this stuff, and make your money. That's fine. But you don't have to screw me over on it. You know.
Yeah, I know.
But
I pay my taxes. What is it, till April you have to pay your taxes, or March or something?
Yeah.
It's like, that's going to creep up. I mean, how much more? Plus, I never got this thing of like, okay, they take my money when I make my money, and they take my money when I spend my money, right? And then when you buy something used, they collect another tax on it. So you wonder how much a product is taxed through its lifetime. It's taxed multiple times, more than the value of the product. It's got to be.
Right.
So it's like, well, how many times do you want to tax this? And I wish they would just go, okay, we're spending way more money. we need to spend less money in these areas. I
Yeah.
wish they did that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's no way that's going to happen. I think
Yeah.
we saw that. There's no goddamn way that's going to start happening
Yeah. Yeah.
because, we're spending way too much money.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just rant and raving. I'm going to go. I'll talk to you later.